Well, speaking of dedication, our Nick Dixon arrived safely back from Haiti late last night. Of course, he spent the last 2 weeks covering the devastation in the quake-ravaged country, and he joins us now live with some of the more personal reflections and observations on Haiti. Nick, nice to have you with us.
Thanks, Taz. It's good to be back. Of course, a trip to Haiti is really, honestly, a mind-blowing experience, certainly at this time. There is just absolutely so much devastation, so much heartache, and so much going on in that country that is just, they're struggling to begin with. And now being back, trying to process all of that, it isn't easy, but today I kind of sat down with all the tapes that we shot, and I took a look back at Haiti and sort of put together some thoughts on exactly what things are looking like as it stands now. From the sky, sitting on the edge of a Sea King chopper, Haiti is clearly a beautiful mountainous country. The land is in many parts dry and dusty, but there are areas of lush vegetation. There are also people living in these remote mountains, and on this flight I couldn't help but look out in awe of the beauty. But as we passed the last peak and had our first peek at Port-au-Prince, to call it a city in ruins is an understatement. An entire hillside of homes was destroyed, and the closer we flew to the airport, the worse it seemed to get. In the hours since I've been back, people have been asking me, how was Haiti? How bad was it? These are not easy questions to answer. Brutal, sad, destroyed, desperate, shocking. Those words come to mind. And while we were there, we tried very hard to send back images and stories to give our viewers a better sense of just how bad it is. But the truth is, unless you see it with your own eyes, it's impossible. Walking through the tent cities, which now cover formerly empty land throughout Port-au-Prince, is depressing. Thousands of people spend their entire days on the camps with nothing else to do or nowhere to go, because it was all wiped out in the quake. Beyond the staggering death toll, there are thousands of Haitians sick and injured. But many hospitals were also destroyed in the quake, so in place of ORs and wards, there are tents and makeshift clinics dotting hospital campuses. Women, children, men and boys, young and old, are all getting help. Many have lost limbs, others have just started their lives. If you turn in Port-au-Prince, there is no escaping scenes like this. One of the places which stands out just for the sheer volume of damage is the National Cathedral. This historic building where so many worshipped and where many were killed and buried will now have to be rebuilt. Inside the church, piles of debris of what was once the roof and archways fill the floor, but outside the crucifix stands unharmed. That is significant because Haiti's a very religious country, and the faith of all Haitians is getting its ultimate test right now. So church services we watched were full of inspiration and thanks. Thanks for being spared. Thanks for not being injured or sick. And thanks for life. In the face of losing so much, these people found a reason for thanks and a reason to be happy. If the people who are now in Haiti are members of NGOs and missionary groups, they're doing what they can to try and get a country already facing incredible challenges back to where it was. Every day they found the strength to get right into the hardest hit areas and offer their help. But they couldn't do their jobs without the help of soldiers and sailors. The U.S. presence was everywhere, but Canada also has a full complement of forces helping provide clean water and medical care, digging latrines, offering protection to NGOs as they distribute food, and even trying to brighten the days of residents in these camps. Figuring out who got more out of those interactions was frankly a toss-up. What is not in any doubt is the amount of work that lies ahead in Haiti. This is an effort that will take years and won't be at all easy. Many people I spoke to are hoping Haiti can use this tragedy as a way of rebuilding for the better. Whether it can be done is right now a big if. But what is certainly clear when you look at all those pictures, and there are many, many more that we could have showed you tonight, is just the absolute widespread nature of this devastation. Again, hard to really get across, Taz, exactly how widespread and how intense all this devastation is. And hopefully they rebuild, but it's going to be not a question of months, but more a question of years, with a lot of dedication and a lot of help from outside of Haiti. Back to you. Absolutely, Nick. If we can ask you just one question. You just got back last night and you haven't had time to decompress. But is there one image or one experience or one person that really stands out in your experience during the last 2 weeks? Yes, certainly the one that I would say choked me up the most was on Sunday morning. John Tuck and I, my cameraman, we went out to the Village of Hope Church about 35 minutes outside of Port-au-Prince, where probably about 40 children of various ages were having their Sunday church service. It was in a beautiful place, and before they started the service, they wanted to introduce and welcome the Canadians that were there to sort of of film them and see them. And so they sang this beautiful welcome song to us. They clapped, you know, hello, Mr. Nick, hello, Mr. John. And it was just an absolutely touching moment. All of these eyes staring back at us, all of these children dressed in their Sunday best. Some of them had walked an hour, perhaps even 2 hours to get to church that morning because they so strongly believed and their faith was so strong and they wanted to be there. But these children were welcoming us and warmly, you know, seeing us and having us there. It was kind of a tough moment to really figure out in your heads because you're standing there and they're happy to see us. I mean, we were happy to see them and happy to see how they were doing, but the moment, I will absolutely never forget it. It was incredible. There were dozens of them, but that one, as far as a priority, sticks out in my head the most.
So this experience has changed you?
You cannot go to Haiti right now and not be changed. I don't care how jaded or how kind of grizzled some journalists are. I saw a lot of journalists much more experienced than I, and you could tell by looking in their eyes that they were seeing some things they hadn't seen in forever. I mean, a lot of the people I spoke to there were also at the tsunami 5 years ago in Sri Lanka. They said this was worse. They said seeing this was worse. Even some war correspondents I spoke to said this was worse than Iraq and Afghanistan combined, just the sheer level of devastation and the level of what's happening there. I want to point out one thing, though. A lot of people have been asking me, did you feel safe? Did you feel threatened while you were there? We felt fine. Specifically in Port-au-Prince, we were no longer part of the Navy embed program. That means we did not have force protection when we went out around the cities, but during the day we felt absolutely secure. The reality, though, is we did not go out at night. That was not advisable. You have to understand, there are no street lights there. There are no roads that are obvious. It's still the roads, 2 or 3 lane roads were sort of down to 1 or 1.5. And you had to be very careful in some parts of the area. But we felt secure during the day, but at night it appeared to be a different story, although I can't say we heard any reports of anybody getting any harm, but it was more a cautious caution we were taking.
Well, we are glad to have you back safe and sound, as well as photographer John Tuck, and look forward to hearing more stories. And thank you for bringing that local perspective to such a big international story.
You bet. It was my pleasure.
Our pleasure to listen. Thanks so much, Nick. And still with Haiti.